Hello everyone and welcome to my Paybox, the Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Michael Baldwin's loyalty may be put to the test. It took a long time for Michael to finally regain Victor Newman's trust, but he could make a risky move and betray him once more. Michael is part of Victor's inner circle again, so he could be the Abbott's best bet if they're going to figure out hostage Jack Abbott's location. If Michael can nail down where Jack is being held, then he could be tempted to leak that news to Diane Jenkins Abbott. Of course, Michael may want to see how things play out first. Since Victor is demanding Chancellor back within 24 hours, Michael might hope the Abbotts will get the deal done within the deadline. However, Phyllis Summers could present a problem if she drags her feet on this. Although Victor has been barking orders at Billy Abbott, Phyllis is still in charge of Chancellor and may not give it up right away. The longer this process takes, the more frantic Diane is going to become. Y&R fans know Michael and Diane are friends, so she may go to him with a desperate plea at some point. It quotes easy to imagine Diane pushing Michael to put himself in her shoes. Michael would move heaven and earth to get Lauren Fenmore Baldwin back if Victor had thrown her into captivity. Perhaps Michael will admit that and see just how terrified Diane looks. Lauren may hear about Jack's abduction as well and push Michael to do whatever it takes to bring him home. Naturally, Lauren won't want a target on Michael's back, so she might hope he can secretly figure out Jack's location and spill it. Unfortunately, Michael may doubt that he can pull this off without Victor putting it together that he's responsible. Even so, Lauren might push Michael to do the right thing, even if that means blowing up his newly restored relationship with Victor. Since behind-the-scenes hints point to a marina set being used, that must be where captive Jack is being held on a yacht. Michael might find out the specific marina and divulge that information to the Abbotts if Victor leaves him no choice. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jack will hold out hope for a rescue, so stay tuned. The tension surrounding Jack Abbott's shocking disappearance continues to ripple through Genoa City, and at the center of the growing storm stands Michael Baldwin, a man whose loyalty may soon be tested in ways he never expected. It took a long, difficult road for Michael to rebuild the fragile trust he once lost with the powerful Victor Newman. For years, Victor guarded his inner circle like a fortress, allowing only a select few to stand close enough to witness his most secret plans. Yet somehow, through patience and careful maneuvering, Michael finally earned his way back into that privileged space beside the Newman patriarch. Now, however, that hard-won loyalty could be placed in serious jeopardy. Because if Michael chooses compassion over allegiance, he could risk everything he has worked so hard to rebuild. And in the dangerous world of Genoa City power struggles, one wrong move against Victor Newman can have consequences that echo for years. As the crisis deepens, the Abbotts are growing more desperate with every passing hour. The kidnapping of Jack Abbott has sent shockwaves through his family, leaving them scrambling for any clue that might lead them to him. In a city full of secrets and shifting alliances, Michael may quietly become their best chance of uncovering the truth. As one of Victor's most trusted advisors, he has access to information that few others could ever hope to reach. If anyone could piece together where Jack is being held, it might very well be Michael Baldwin. And once that information is within his grasp, the real question will begin to haunt him: what will he do with it? Because knowing the truth is one thing, but deciding who deserves to hear it could change everything. If Michael does manage to discover Jack's location, a dangerous temptation could creep into his mind. That information could become a lifeline for Diane Jenkins Abbott, the woman who is currently drowning in fear and uncertainty about her husband's fate. Diane has never been one to surrender easily, especially when the man she loves is in danger. The thought of Jack trapped somewhere alone, waiting and hoping for rescue, would be more than she could bear. If Michael were to quietly pass along the location, even in secret, it could give the Abbotts the chance they need to bring Jack home. But leaking that kind of information would also mean betraying Victor Newman once again, reopening wounds that took years to heal. For Michael, the choice between loyalty and conscience is beginning to look like an impossible one. Still, Michael may hesitate before making any reckless decision. Part of him might hope that the entire situation resolves itself before he is forced to choose sides. Victor has already laid down a ruthless ultimatum. He wants Chancellor returned to him within 24 hours. The clock is ticking, and every moment that slips away pushes the abbots closer to panic. Michael might quietly hope that they meet Victor's demand before the deadline expires, ending the standoff without any further damage. If the deal goes through quickly enough, Jack could be freed without Michael ever having to betray the man who trusts him. For now, he may simply watch from the sidelines, waiting to see whether the crisis resolves itself before he is forced to act. But the situation is far from simple, and one unpredictable factor could threaten to derail everything. Even though Victor has been barking orders at Billy Abbott, the real power over Chancellor currently rests with Phyllis Summers. Phyllis has never been known for backing down easily, especially when she believes she holds the advantage. If she decides to drag her feet or refuses to hand over control immediately, Victor's carefully constructed plan could begin to unravel. Every hour of delay will only increase the pressure, pushing everyone closer to a breaking point. The longer the negotiations stretch on, the more frantic Diane will become as she waits for any sign that Jack is still safe. And that growing desperation could soon drive her straight to Michael Baldwin. When fear begins to overwhelm Diane, it's easy to imagine her turning to the one person who might still help her from within Victor's circle. Michael and Diane share a complicated friendship built on years of history and mutual understanding. At some point, Diane may approach him with a desperate plea that cuts straight through his carefully guarded neutrality. She could look him in the eyes and ask him to imagine the roles reversed, to imagine that Victor had taken Lauren Fenmore Baldwin and locked her away somewhere unknown. In that moment, the weight of Diane's fear would become painfully clear. Michael knows exactly what he would do if Lauren were the one in danger. He would move heaven and earth to bring her back. And once that truth is spoken aloud, Diane's trembling fear may make it impossible for him to ignore her pain. Lauren herself may soon learn about Jack's terrifying situation, and her reaction could push Michael even further toward a life-changing decision. Lauren knows better than anyone how complicated Michael's relationship with Victor has been over the years. She understands how hard he worked to rebuild that fragile trust, yet she also knows the kind of man Michael truly is, a man who cannot simply stand by while someone suffers. Lauren may gently but firmly encourage him to do whatever it takes to bring Jack home. At the same time, she would worry deeply about the consequences, knowing Victor does not forgive betrayal easily. Ideally, Lauren might hope Michael can somehow uncover Jack's location in secret and quietly pass along the information without leaving any trace behind. Unfortunately, Michael is far too experienced to believe that deceiving Victor would be easy. Victor Newman has spent decades anticipating betrayal from every direction, and he rarely misses the subtle clues that reveal disloyalty. Michael may fear that if he leaks the information, Victor will eventually connect the dots and realize exactly who is responsible. And if that happens, the trust Michael fought so hard to rebuild could shatter once again. Even worse, Victor's retaliation could place a target directly on Michael's back. Yet, as the pressure grows and Diane's desperation becomes impossible to ignore, Lauren might continue urging Michael to follow his conscience. Sometimes doing the right thing comes at a heavy cost, and Michael Baldwin may soon be forced to decide whether that cost is worth paying. Meanwhile, clues from behind the scenes suggest that Jack's imprisonment may be taking place in a chillingly isolated location. Rumors point to a marina set being used, hinting that Jack is being held somewhere along the water, far from the reach of ordinary rescue attempts. In fact, the truth may be even more dangerous than anyone realizes. Jack could be trapped aboard a yacht, hidden among the quiet docks of a secluded marina where few would ever think to search. The rocking of the water beneath the hull, the distant cry of gulls, and the endless stretch of dark ocean would make the captivity feel even more isolating. If Michael somehow discovers the exact marina where Victor's men are keeping Jack, that knowledge could become the key to saving him. And if Victor's ruthless demands leave him no other choice, Michael might finally take the ultimate risk and reveal the truth to the Abbotts. Until that moment arrives, Jack Abbott himself is left clinging to hope in the darkness of his captivity. Despite the uncertainty surrounding him, Jack's determination has always been one of his greatest strengths. Somewhere deep down, he may believe that his family will not give up searching for him. Every passing moment becomes a test of endurance, a quiet battle between despair and faith. The question now hanging over Genoa City is whether help will arrive before Victor's dangerous game reaches its final move. And as the drama continues to unfold, one thing becomes certain: Michael Baldwin's next decision could change everything. For now, all eyes remain fixed on the ticking clock because Jack Abbott is still waiting for his rescue. As the hours continue to slip away, the weight of the crisis begins to settle heavily over Genoa City, casting a long shadow across everyone connected to the Abbott and Newman families. Somewhere far from the city's bright boardrooms and familiar streets, Jack Abbott remains trapped in a place that feels worlds away from the life he knows. The gentle rocking of water against a hidden vessel and the distant hum of the marina may be the only sounds accompanying his isolation, subtle reminders that he has been deliberately removed from everything and everyone he loves. Yet even in that quiet captivity, Jack's resolve refuses to crumble. His mind keeps returning to the people who would never abandon him, his family, his allies, and most of all the woman who has fought so hard to rebuild a life with him. That faith, fragile but unbroken, becomes the thread keeping him steady as the hours stretch on. Back in Genoa City, the fear gripping Diane Jenkins Abbott only grows stronger with each unanswered question. Every passing moment without news feels like an eternity, a cruel reminder that somewhere out there Jack is waiting for someone to find him. Diane has always been resilient, but even the strongest heart can begin to crack under the pressure of helplessness. The thought that Jack could be suffering while negotiations stall is more than she can bear. Her mind races with possibilities, each darker than the last, until desperation finally drives her to seek help wherever she can find it. And inevitably, that path leads her to the one man who might be able to tip the balance, Michael Baldwin. When Diane finally confronts Michael, the moment carries a quiet but powerful emotional weight. She doesn't approach him with anger or accusations, but with a vulnerability that cuts straight through his defenses. Diane asks him to imagine the unthinkable, to picture a world where the person he loves most has been taken away and hidden somewhere beyond his reach. In that moment, the name that echoes in Michael's mind is unmistakable: Lauren Fenmore Baldwin. He knows without hesitation that if Lauren were in danger, there would be nothing he wouldn't do to bring her home. Diane's eyes, filled with fear and pleading hope, make that realization impossible to ignore. For the first time since this crisis began, Michael can truly feel the depth of the pain she's carrying. Yet the moment Diane walks away, Michael finds himself standing alone with a choice that could change everything. His long and complicated history with Victor Newman flashes through his mind like a series of warnings. It took years of careful loyalty, patience, and quiet devotion for Michael to earn his place back within Victor's trusted inner circle. That position isn't just professional, it represents redemption, proof that Victor finally believes in him again. Betraying that trust would not simply damage their relationship, it could destroy it completely. And Michael knows better than anyone that Victor Newman does not forgive betrayal lightly. Meanwhile, the negotiations surrounding Chancellor continue to twist and turn, becoming more volatile with every passing hour. Victor's demands remain cold and uncompromising, his ultimatum hanging in the air like a ticking clock. He has made it perfectly clear that he expects Chancellor returned within 24 hours, and he has no intention of negotiating beyond that deadline. Though he directs many of his sharp orders toward Billy Abbott, the truth is that the final decision may rest elsewhere. The unpredictable factor in this already explosive situation is Phyllis Summers, a woman who has never been known for surrendering control without a fight. Phyllis currently holds the power over Chancellor, and whether she hands it back quickly or delays just to prove a point could determine how this dangerous standoff ends. As tensions rise, Michael quietly watches the situation unfold, hoping against hope that the Abbotts will meet Victor's demands before he is forced to intervene. If the deal happens quickly, Jack might be released without Michael ever having to choose sides. But the longer the negotiations drag on, the more likely it becomes that Diane's desperate plea will echo louder in his mind. Every delay tightens the knot of anxiety surrounding Jack's fate. Every hour of uncertainty pushes Diane closer to emotional collapse. And every moment that Victor remains in control increases the likelihood that someone will eventually have to break the rules to save Jack. At the same time, whispers and clues begin to paint a clearer picture of where Jack might be hidden. The rumor circulating behind the scenes points toward a marina, a quiet, secluded place where yachts drift peacefully along calm waters, far from the chaos of the city. But beneath that peaceful surface could lie the secret of Jack's captivity. Somewhere among those docks, aboard one of those sleek vessels, Jack may be confined in isolation while Victor's plan unfolds. The location is clever, almost poetic in its simplicity, surrounded by water, removed from suspicion, and easy to guard. For anyone trying to mount a rescue, finding the exact marina could be the difference between success and failure. If Michael manages to uncover that precise location, the knowledge will weigh on him like a secret too heavy to carry. In that moment, his choice will no longer be theoretical, it will be painfully real. He could remain loyal to Victor and protect the fragile trust he fought so hard to rebuild. Or he could secretly pass that information to the Abbott family, giving them the chance to reach Jack before time runs out. Either path carries consequences that could reshape Michael's future forever. Loyalty, friendship, love, and morality will collide in a single decision that cannot be undone. And far away aboard that hidden yacht drifting quietly in the marina's shadows, Jack Abbott continues to hold on to the one thing no one can take from him: hope. Even in captivity, Jack has never been the kind of man to surrender to despair. Somewhere deep in his heart, he believes that his family will not stop searching until they find him. The thought of Diane refusing to give up, of his loved ones fighting for him, becomes the light that keeps him going through the darkness. The question now is whether that rescue will arrive in time, or whether Victor Newman's dangerous game will reach its final move before anyone can stop it.